All right, we're live. What's up, guys? Got Conservative Mexican on the channel tonight. Just gonna talk some politics and just go from there.
Good to be back, my friend. How you been? It's been a while.
I know, man. I know. It's like we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary when I first set up my channel.
Has it actually already been a year?
Actually, it'll be a year in April. I think I set my channel up like late March, and then I did that. Remember, I did that first video, and I was all nervous and camera shy. I had my sunglasses on.
I remember that because we were talking about it over Twitter, and you were talking about how you wanted to do videos. You've been thinking about it. You were hesitant to do it. And then you were like, all right, I'm going to do one tomorrow. And I was like, why don't you just do one today? Just do it. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. And as time progresses, it'll just come on its own.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear.
Yeah, man. I was so like I was inspired by channels like yours and Uber guys because you guys did a lot of videos in your car, and I'm like, I could do this. This isn't that hard. It doesn't look hard. I would want to get like ABL and have like a nice little studio setup, but I'm like, I don't need any of that to get started, and so that's really what made the difference for me. And now I'm looking like I got 17,000 subs and growing. It's a great feeling, man. And it's needed too. It's not even just like having a channel just for fun. Although it is fun, it's like we need people to speak out. We need people who want to defend this country. And I couldn't sit back and not do anything.
And then you even have a nice little setup behind you. You got more than I do when I live stream. I usually do it either in my room or in the kitchen. You got the nice Trump 2020, got the American flag. Don't tread on me. You got that little sign. I actually want to get one of those shirts. I saw you do a couple of videos with that. That's pretty awesome. But you're doing your thing, man.
With what you talking about, the flag?
No, the don't tread on me. The snake.
Yeah. It's funny, man. I actually didn't know what that flag was. The first time I saw it was when I moved here, and I'm like, okay, what does that flag mean? Because when you move to the South, everyone's like, when you're up north, you move to the South, they're like, you better watch out for the Confederate flag down there. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch out for it. It's just a flag. And then I start seeing the "Don't tread on me," and I'm like, I think I know what that means. And then when I looked it up and saw the history of it, I'm like, I'm getting one of those flags. That flag represents me. That's like that Tea Party movement. That was their flag. The Gadsden flag, actually.
So how's the political climate been since the midterms? Because I know you guys almost went socialist for a while. You guys had us nervous over here.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were sweating. We were really sweating because not only was Ron DeSantis going against a socialist, but he was black, and that mattered because Florida is. You know how it is when you have a minority candidate, and Obama carried the state twice. And so it really felt like this might be the one. This guy might win because it just seemed like he came out of nowhere. Next thing you know, he had Soros money behind him, and it was crazy. But we dodged that bullet nonetheless, and we're grateful for it. And I actually just did a live stream on Facebook where I was talking about it, and I said, if we didn't have a principled conservative Republican running the state, that would look bad for Trump going into the 2020 election, because the climate of the swing state goes a long way, and Florida's economy is strong. And so with DeSantis coming in and kind of rolling back more regulation and stabilizing things, and he's got Supreme Court picks that he's already done, and like he's doing a lot of things that's got even Democrats down here giving him praise. And so that really stood out to me, is that with our country so divided, like you'd be hard pressed to find a Democrat to give a Republican any kind of credit for something they're doing. But other than that, I mean, Florida just kind of is what it is. You have a little bit of everything. There's not as many, I guess, we don't have any like hard leftists here. Sometimes
they're coming. Huh? Trust me, they're coming. Remember, they've already taken out California, New York. They're going after Texas, and whatever they plan on doing in Texas, better believe they're going to go after Florida next.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they got their work cut out for them, though, because you got to be real. It took a while for them to get California the way it is now. Florida has been mostly moderate because you have a lot of liberals, but the classic liberals. It's an older state, so the people that are here, even though they might be liberal, they're not like women's march protest and screeching and holding up signs. There's hardly any of that. It's pretty calm and tame down here, which is great. But sometimes I do wish we had a little crazy, just because it helps me to expose it and get I could do live streams and it would give me more content if it were in my backyard. But I'm also grateful that it's not in my backyard.
Have you had any success finding any other content creators in the Florida area like yourself?
Well, there's a couple other YouTubers down here that mostly subscribe to me. Like, you've heard of Controversial Reality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've live streamed with him a couple times. And the Tony Patriot. There's this guy named Royal De Niro, I guess. I don't know. He's on Facebook, but he does a lot of live streams on Facebook. But other than that, I think I'm the biggest YouTuber in Florida, man. Well, you got Political Avenger in Miami.
So how was that trip to DC?
Oh yeah, we haven't talked since then. Wow.
No, I'm telling you, it's been we've both been just doing our thing, and I know a lot of us content creators have kind of like lost touch a little bit, which I think we need to do. Especially with what's happening right now. We'll talk about that later with the whole censorship thing. I know you brought it up in a couple of your videos. I've definitely seen it in a lot of my videos. But tell me about it.
Yeah, it was powerful. Honestly, it was so powerful to go to the nation's capital and see so many young, bright Black conservatives, just people who think like you, people who have a similar worldview, people who are driven, positive. They don't believe in the left's narrative that Black equals victim,
Mm-hmm.
So you had a lot of free thinkers there, and there was just the level of discourse was so much higher, and I just had such an appreciation. Honestly, it filled me up. It was just one of the best experiences ever. And then, of course, going to the White House, seeing the president, and just the high energy of it all. They got media coverage. Vice made a documentary of it, and then meeting all of these content creators that I wasn't really starstruck, but I was also like, wow, that's ABL over there. Or like, there's Brandon Tatum right there. And then for them to know me, because I'm thinking, I'm a small channel. I just set this thing up and I'm hoping to grow it. And they're like, yeah, I've been subscribed to your channel. I like what you're doing. So that was pretty nice. And then with the walk away march that happened that same weekend, it was just great. Two great events going on at once. I was happy to be a part of it. We actually need to do that again. There needs to be at least one other walk away conservative patriots gathering. It doesn't even matter if it's Black leadership or whatever. We just need to have a bunch of us get together in DC and rally the troops.
And now, since then, have you been in contact with those creators? Like, I know ABL uploads all the time, but like Brandon Tatum and all the other ones, do you keep in touch with them?
No, I actually let's see. So before I went out there, I live streamed with a couple guys. So there's a guy named Justin Herms, Adventist Herms. Funny thing, I live streamed with him like back in September. He had like maybe 3,000, 4,000 subs. He's at 38,000 now. And that's just since like September. His channel is on fire. He's passed up so many other. I was happy to see that because I saw one of his videos and I reached out to him. I'm like, yeah, man, I would like to help you get some more subs. Send me an email. And he was glad to do it. And so we live streamed and he got a bunch of subs off of that. And he kind of took off. It's kind of like this story. You gave me my first probably 50 to 100 subs just to get me going. And then I've done that for a couple YouTubers. So Conservative in NY. I had him on the channel probably a month ago. And I've been on ABL's channel. I've called into his show a couple times. I've collabed with Kevin's Corner where I called into his radio show. I actually helped him host his radio show back in like July of last year.
Yeah, and I actually did a live stream with Kevin's Corner a couple of days ago. And when I was looking at my prior videos, I hadn't done I don't know, man. Like, he has great content. So on Um,
Oh, I couldn't hear you, man. You're cutting out.
I'm cutting out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It's a little
Okay.
pixelated, but what? Just say what you said again.
Okay. So, but since then, what you were saying in some prior videos that you've been seeing a little bit of a drop. How long has that been happening for?
With my subs, I would say it's been like honestly like 2 to 3 days, maybe about a week actually, because I would make a video and then I would notice, regardless of what the video is about, whether it's a trending topic or not, I would see a lift in subscribers. But then every day, even if I don't make a video, I would still get maybe 20, 30. And so that number just stayed at 20, 20, 30 a day, maybe even dropped to like 10, 15 a day, even when I did make a video. And then the main thing is not even really subs, because, there's always going to be attrition with your subscribers. Mm-hmm. What I've noticed is like the views would be very low. And I know you've experienced that too. The censorship is real, and they've demonetized like 3 of my last 4 videos without telling me why. It's a joke.
What I've noticed is usually the live streams help out a lot more. What I've been doing with my live streams is put in, like I saw you did it with yours. You put out an event notification that you're gonna go live. At this point, and you know what? Like when it first started happening to me, I was upset. I was like, you know what? This sucks. Why me? I was doing so good. I'm in California. I'm exactly the opposite of what the left says that we are. I support Trump. But then I thought to myself, what is it that I'm not doing that could possibly help that out? And a lot of things that I've been doing is actually going on a lot of other content creators and engaging on their platform. If you really think about it, right now, if you try to think of a couple of things that you could do right now to kind of, we could probably all, tweet a little bit more, be a little bit more active on Instagram. It's actually forcing us to actually grow even more than we have before, in order to retain those subs, because it's really scary, because I didn't think this for a while until I came back from TJ. What they're really trying to do to us. And everything that we talk about, the history of the Democratic Party and slavery and the KKK, and they're the party of this. If they were capable of that, we haven't seen anything yet. They're going to keep coming each and every day. And that's why I always stress the importance of, like I always tell my subscribers, comment on every video that I do. The importance of sharing, just staying connected, because that's what they're really trying to do, is divide us. They're hoping that we all just say, you know what, I'm just not good enough. If, like you said, that guy has 38,000 subscribers. They want you to think, you know what, it was his, his goal to do that, his mission. It wasn't for me, so I'm just going to give up. That's what they really want you to do. And they're actually trying to discourage all of us. And it's actually we're actually just weeding out the ones that are going to stay, and the ones that don't, they just won't create content anymore. I know you're not going to be one of those, because the minute that I first saw your videos, I'm like, this guy's sharp as hell. So just keep doing what you're doing, dude. I've been retweeting your stuff on Twitter, Instagram, and you do your thing on YouTube. Just keep doing the live streams, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, man.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I was just about to go there. I did watch the Super Bowl, man, but I watched it so passively. I actually was live streaming during the Super Bowl because it was such a boring game. I really was watching for the commercials. I was really hoping that we would see the propaganda, the leftist narrative, the underhand attacks at Trump. Like, we didn't see any of that. Like, there were a few, SJW commercials, but for the most part, they really kept it tame. I thought there would be another like Gillette style commercial or something with Nike. They didn't really do that. So overall, it was underwhelming. I hate to really call it a big story because it had nothing to do with the Super Bowl, but it was trending on Twitter, of course. Twitter would make sure that that's trending along with the Super Bowl, but the Kaepernick protests, like how none of the musicians wanted to they were like protesting the halftime show, but then they were still doing like live events. They were still there in Atlanta participating in the festivities, but they were like, no, the halftime show's off limits. We're going to shame Travis Scott and we're going to shame Gladys Knight for singing the national anthem. So that was trending, and I just overall, it was boring. Did you watch it?
No, I actually had to work until 8 o'clock, so I actually live stream on my lunch, and I think it was in between like the first half of the Super Bowl. But I mean, I was never much of a football fan, but I knew they were going to make every Super Bowl. They always have the big thing is the commercials, and with Trump as president, they were going to be political. So I was just curious if there was any ones that stood out politically. I did hear about the whole thing with Colin Kaepernick, but one other thing that I want to ask you: how have people in Florida taken the whole situation with the governor of Virginia? Has there been any media locally about that?
No, no, there hasn't actually. No more than like what they're talking about at the national level. But here's what's interesting about it. Okay, we actually, so Ron DeSantis appointed an not attorney general. I don't remember he might have been attorney general actually. So anyway, he appointed this guy, and then there was a photo that surfaced of him in blackface, and this was like 2 weeks ago. And I was really surprised it didn't bubble up to the mainstream. But the thing is, as soon as it came out that he was in blackface and the photo was surfacing, the local media covered it, but he resigned immediately. So it was like a swift thing, and it happened overnight pretty much. Like I woke up one day and I saw the headline and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. But CNN ran it. I'm just surprised it didn't spark like coast to coast outrage the way this one has. So it's pretty interesting, but it happened here. The guy resigned right away, and nobody else is really talking about it besides, the locals. I was actually happy that didn't blow up, because it would have been bad on DeSantis, right? Because you know how you have to walk on eggshells if you're white. You can't say anything. You can't say, all right, kids, stop monkeying around if there's a black person standing 10 feet away from you. Because they're like, oh, look at this, Trump's America. He's just triggering people off the, racism and stuff. So I'm glad that didn't happen, because it would have shed a negative light on this governor.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to talk to you about, and once again, the whole thing with censorship. I was doing a live stream like about half an hour before I did, was doing this live stream, and I guess the high schoolers from Covington, they lawyered up, so they're going to sue the media, celebrities, and I think actually the school for libel and slander over what happened in Covington. So as far as censorship goes, what we're doing is working. The mainstream media used to tell the narrative time and time again. But with what we're doing in our little snippets, it's getting out little by little, and people are starting getting fed up to the point they're like, no, you know what? We have the power as well. As long as we stick together, and when they slip up, you have to be on top of it. Like with the whole thing with Gillette. Did you see the Gillette ad with the "What is a man"?
I did, yeah. That was straight up just demonization of all things male, and they reached for it. They really oversold it. Like, really, kids can't wrestle because that's barbaric, and it was really dumb. I was surprised by it.
Well, there was actually a response video right as soon as Gillette made the ad. There was one, I think it was called eGuard watches. They actually did a response video to that, and it got like 10 times the amount of likes that the other one did. And it shows that despite what the left is doing, we're kind of waking up to what they're trying to do to us. Like I went to the Women's March in LA, and it was a complete joke. Like there was a lot of women that were there. I was like, are you going to really support what they're doing here, attacking people, calling them racist for no reason? And there was even liberals that were kind of like even they're afraid, because they're seeing that a lot of these liberals, they're not even liberals anymore. They're becoming leftist. They're becoming progressive. They're openly supporting communism.
Yeah.
What we're doing right now is definitely working. It's just we have to stay the course, because we're going to get the worst of what they have in store for right now.
Oh, we're going to keep the pressure on. Like there's no way that we're going to let up on them, especially because they're doing it to themselves. With the Covington Catholic thing, that was a defining moment. That was them committing to their Trump hatred. Like, you see Bill Maher, after the facts came out, he's like, I don't care. It's still the kid's fault. Like, they didn't walk back their statements. There were no apologies. The media, they kept their headlines the same. to make it look like these kids provoked this Native American. So they were like, we're committing to this. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, wow. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. All right, gloves coming off. Gloves are off, because the thing is, how is it that Jack Dorsey, I don't know if you saw him go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Joe Rogan gave him the most softball question. I can't stand Joe Rogan. I unsubscribed from Joe Rogan after that. But anyway, Joe Rogan didn't press him on Kathy Griffin still having a Twitter account, how all these celebrities and all these entertainers, people with blue check marks, can put threats on Twitter. You can do pretty much anything you want on Twitter except be a conservative. Everything else is no holds barred. So how is it that the kids from Covington can sue? It's illegal for what those, people on Twitter did. So they can legally sue them, but Twitter thinks it's not a big deal. So what does that tell you about Twitter? If you can take someone to court for what they said, but they can stay on social media and continue to do it.
So basically, I haven't seen the interview, but I saw a bunch of articles. I saw a bunch of people that had done videos about it. So basically, Joe Rogan went soft on him.
Pretty much. It was weak.
With Joe Rogan, throughout the last couple of years, I've been kind of like, it goes from left to right, where I'm like, okay, he's not that bad. I understand what he's trying to do. But, I mean, he's just, an entertainer? I mean, it's just one of those things where it's that obvious for him not to press him on that. It's just, once again, that's where it's our job to do that. That's where we have the ability to do what Joe Rogan isn't doing, and it's just speaking the truth flat out. We all know if Trump supporters said half the stuff that people say on Twitter that are on the left, we'd be gone. We would be completely gone. And that's why for the longest time I was a follower of who David Rubin is?
Yeah, I know Rubin.
From the Rubin Report. He says, you know what? Like I don't belong with them anymore because they don't align with my principles. That's why I actually give Howard Schultz a lot of credit. Even though he's going to run against Trump, he's like, I'm not a Democrat because they're not who we are. And then they instantly attacked him. So the people are starting to really see the left for who they've always been. With the whole thing with Covington, especially with the whole thing with the blackface. I mean, with the whole thing with the blackface, how do you even defend that?
I don't know. I don't know how they defend it, but I know that they tried to pull a fast one by showing him as a Republican because they know that their viewers aren't going to check. They know that the people who watch CNN are going to be like, yep, it's a Republican again. But then they came back out. They're like, oops, sorry, because they got called out. If no one said anything about it, it would have just stood. But I know that was on purpose. And they keep doing that kind of stuff. And, with like the blackface thing, I was saying in my live stream on Facebook that it seemed to me like those on the left they were actually happy that the blackface came up, because it drew the attention away from that late-term abortion blunder, right? That was a bad look for them. And they were starting to get a lot of heat because there's some polling data that says 80% of Americans are totally against it. Like, that is so radical. And then all of a sudden this came up. So you have to wonder, like, that's kind of convenient that came up. And then also for the CNN and MSNBC, all of the people who've come out and said anything, they're just like, they seem really like they're mourning it. Like, it's sad that one of theirs would get caught up in this. The other thing is, some people are defending him like, well, it was 30 years ago. I mean, we can't just go dig up someone's past. And it's like,
Kavanaugh?
And then the people who are open and like they're being loud about you must resign are all the people running for president. Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, they all made these pretty little statements saying he must resign. We can't stand for this in our country. The stain in the halls of our government, the stain of racism. I think Kamala Harris's tweet was something like that. I'm like, this is so fake. You're just saying that because you're running for president.
And see, that's the importance of each and every one of us, whether you have 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, keep the pressure on them every single day. Because once again, like, I don't know if you noticed, but 2020 is going to be Trump against the left. And they're already eating each other alive. They're already fighting amongst one another. Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, you have Howard Schultz, and now everybody else. It's like a fight to go against Trump. So exactly what the Republicans try to do to Trump, the Democrats are doing right now to each other.
I know, it's crazy. They're so cannibalistic, but it's because they have to play by their own rules. They set the rules of engagement, identity politics. Okay, so right off top, all the men that are running are automatically sexist because they're men. And if you're white, you've been demonized too. So that's why Howard Schultz is going to get so much flack. That's why Bernie Sanders would get flack, because they're straight white men. And then Howard Schultz being a billionaire, they can attack him for that. And then Kamala, that's why I think Kamala Harris has to be the front runner, because she's African American, but she's also a woman. So she checks the boxes for their little intersectionality thing, and she's going to have a leg up on them, and she's going to be able to attack them the same way like AOC attacked Ben Shapiro. When Ben Shapiro tried to debate her, she turned around and said he's catcalling her. Like, seriously? They're using their identity as like a retreat mechanism when they don't have they can't defend their policy. They can't defend their position. So they retreat into their identity. Like, you're just sexist. It's like, no, I want to talk to you about your horrible plan, your Green New Deal. But that's what the left has become. So it's going to be fun to watch them cannibalize. But at the end of the day, we can't overlook them. And there's several reasons why, because you have to remember, even the people who are moderate, even the people who are like, I don't like the far left, they still hate Trump. So they're going to be forced with a decision. It's like, well, I'm obviously not voting for Trump because I hate his guts, but I can't not vote. And I guess Medicare for all won't be so bad. They're pretty much ready. I feel like most people who hate Trump just can't wait to vote against him. They don't care who's running. They just want to cast their vote against Trump. It's not about voting for someone. It's about voting against Trump. And so if you have all of that, plus illegals and all the election fraud, ballot harvesting, it's going to be a close race regardless of who it is on the left. That's just my opinion, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being, I don't see it being Kamala Harris. I could see why she might eventually run against Trump. I just see Howard Schultz kind of sneaking in, going in as an independent, and at the last minute kind of pulling a Bernie Sanders. Now, remember, Bernie Sanders originally said, I'm going to run as an independent. And then if at the end he finds, okay, I'm running as a Democrat. I can see Howard Schultz doing something similar to that. He could kind of be like the anti-Trump because he's also a billionaire, but on the other side. But what you said was, don't sleep on them. I've seen a lot of content creators make a lot of videos mocking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She has the people's ear. Michael Moore already says, we all know she's the leader of our party. And the minute she's eligible to run for president, don't think that she won't. You know, don't think she's not sowing the seeds right now for her own presidency, or just, just trying to implement more of what they're doing in New York and all the other states. Yours, which is really close by, could definitely happen in the future.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. She is she's definitely getting some experience in her wheelhouse, and she's going to be a future candidate. It's just a matter of when. And the left right now, they're so splintered because you have your outsiders like your Howard Schultz, you have your leftists like AOC, and who's that chick with the hijab? I forget her name. Ilhan Omar. She's all anti-Semitic, and then you got that other chick that's like, we're going to impeach the motherfucker. You got her, and then you got your establishment, your Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They're getting up there in age. They're trying to hold their ground. They're trying to pretend like that like AOC and everyone else is fringe, but in reality, that's the base. They got hijacked, just like the Republican Party got hijacked by Trump, but the Republican Party got hijacked for the better. The Republican Party was circling the drain, and if Hillary would have won, gone America. So Trump actually pulled the Republican Party out of the drain, and now I feel like the Republican Party is more of a constitutional conservative. It's way more nuanced than it used to be. You don't have like those neocon war hawks. They're people that are our age, man. And a lot of us have libertarian values. Like, I honestly don't care if people get married. Like, old school Republicans, like those evangelical Republicans, the Bible thumpers, they were like, no, 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 gay marriage is wrong. It's illegal, whatever, whatever. I'm like, the government needs to get out of the business of marriage. Like there needs to be no government incentives for marriage, period. Then there's no discrimination. Whereas now our marriage laws, or before Obama passed that thing, it was discriminatory. It left them out, but it was artificial. You know, it kind of artificially disenfranchised and alienated gay couples. But I just pretty much want to say, like, I think that we have to focus on just hammering home how radical the far left is, showing that, but then also we got to attack it. It's like a two-pronged approach. We got to attack the Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's, because they're the ones who are directly resisting Trump. The other side, they're going against them too. Like AOC is against Nancy Pelosi too. So we just got to kind of squeeze them out.
And that's why I'm surprised that more Democrats didn't come out against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because in California we had two Democrats running against each other, Dianne Feinstein and Kevin De Leon. And Republicans voted for Dianne Feinstein because they knew that he was the lesser of two evils. So I'm surprised Democrats in New York actually allowed Ocasio-Cortez to win. They didn't put more effort into that.
Yeah, but, what is that? It was weird.
If anything, though, it just seems like politics is dead, because nobody supports the Republicans anymore. If you really look at it, most of America supports Trump, not the Republicans. He went in and he bulldozed the other people in the primaries. And on the Democratic side, they're not even liberal anymore. They've gone so far to the left that even Democrats are going, yeah, sorry, I can't connect with you. So there's something that's definitely going on right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like when I went to, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Riverside and I met David Rubin and Jordan Peterson. And they talked a lot about what we were talking about, the censorship. Now, I don't know if you know, both of them left Patreon because there were a lot of Patreon accounts that were being deactivated over political reasons. So they're in the works right now of trying to create a social media network that is, free of bias, if that's even humanly possible. But they're working on that, and even people are seeing how, even though they consider themselves liberal, they just don't align themselves with what is the modern Democratic Party. So there's really something big going on, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been going on south of the border. Mexico's done. When they elected their new president, Obrador, he said to the people that he was going to help. He was going to work with Trump to stop the migrant crisis from from Central America. They've all come through, and the people of Mexico are angry. So this is a lot bigger than just America. This is a global event. Like this whole. Once again, I cannot stress enough. If we really believe that these leftists are capable of globalism, it's just beginning right now, and it's going to get worse. That's why the reason why Trump shut down the government, he knew exactly the danger that we're in. Because once California falls, Florida gone, all the other states completely gone. I think it was Colorado that just passed. It passed the Senate. It probably won't pass the House, but they're going to keep trying it. They're in the process right now of trying to rid the Electoral College, and they're going to keep throwing it out there and seeing what kind of attention, what kind of hits they can get.
Yeah, it's scary, man. I keep telling people, I talk to my family as much as I can without bombarding them, because I've taken in so much information just in the last like 6-7 months. I've learned how serious the issue is with America. Like it could be gone. The only thing we have that's protecting us is our Constitution. Once they get rid of that and repeal everything, we're done. So I'd like try to tell my family, like, are you guys paying attention? You got to look at it beyond Trump. It's not Trump. I know you hate Trump. I know you don't like Trump, but do you hate Trump enough to vote against your own self-interest? Do you want him gone that bad? Or would you be willing to vote for him because he's going to protect what you already have and give you more? Like he's going to keep your taxes low. He believes in the First Amendment, Second Amendment. He's not going to let illegals flood in and pretty much steer the ship of our country because they're just going to vote Democrat. You know, do you want your taxes to go up? I've been trying to talk to people about that because it's way deeper than just the United States. This is a global thing. You're seeing a nationalist, populist backlash across the whole world. I mean, I'm talking like Brazil, Chile. Of course, we all know about Europe. Like France is in full-on revolt. I think Canada will go right wing after Trudeau's gone. At least they're going to try. I don't know. Right wing for Canada is probably still pretty far left. I just think with everything going on, it kind of reminds me of this ideological subversion stuff. I don't know if you heard about this guy from back in like the early 90s. He was a KGB guy, whistleblower. He moved over here, kind of getting away from like that Soviet stuff. We were kids, so I don't really know a whole lot about it, but early 90s, late 80s, whatever. He talked about how they would take down the country from the inside, and he was surprised at how easy it was for America to embrace radical things, just things that were slightly different, and then people would just embrace it and take it in and take it in. And now here we are, and people actually live in the United States that are saying no borders, no walls, no USA at all, that grew up here, born and raised, and they're saying that kind of stuff. It's crazy, man.
And they're doing it because they've never had to. Is that Bezmenov? That's Bezmenov, the spy.
Yeah, Bezmenov, Yuri Bezmenov. Yeah.
You know your stuff, dude. So I keep telling you, keep making your videos, dude. You're gonna do a lot of great things because those of us that persevere, we keep on growing and just keep educating yourself. The views will come. I'll tell you what, I got lucky. Okay, I saw a couple of your walkaway videos. A couple of them went viral. I had one video that's gone viral so far, and it continues to go viral. It's Adam Carolla Destroys White Privilege. It's at like 1.9 million views right now. So tell your subscribers to comment on it. Actually, you comment on it. Tell your subscribers to keep it engaging, and I'll tell my subscribers to keep it going. Because on top of doing that, just go to other content creators and watch their videos and comments. If you ever watched videos that have a lot of views, you'll see Mark Dice. You'll see Amazing Lucas. They go on other people's channels. And if YouTube does something to mess with their platform, they go on somebody else's. We have to all connect on the same platform. So do that, and I'll help, push your comment on that, because we're figuring out little by little. It's like we're kind of teaching history all over again. A lot of people don't even know about this stuff, about what the Soviets did, about what the spies would do, what they would do to come into our country. And I forget what video I was watching. It was either during World War I or World War II, where they would send people from other countries into America. They would send women to sleep with married men to kind of destroy the family. And these were spies. This was their intention, to deceive, to destroy our culture. And they're doing it time and time again. They already did it with the black community. If you look at what they did with the supposed war on poverty, they basically implemented socialism into the black community. They stripped the father out of the homes, and they're doing it right now with the Latinos. And they're doing it with immigration. No borders, no wall. Everybody deserves sanctuary. But what about California? What about all these other states that are these democratic paradises? They're not. They're just ghettos.
Yeah.
They're complete and utter ghettos.
I'll tell you what, man, that's probably, for me as a content creator and just as a political commentator, the hardest thing for me is seeing the black community with the blinders on. I know that we've had people Blexit and walk away, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not happening fast enough. I don't understand for the life of me how any black person in this country can support open borders, knowing that those people coming across the border, those illegals that don't know English, that are low skilled, they're going to undercut wages. They're going right into the black community. I know you see it out in LA. The other thing is, how can they support abortion? I don't understand. I know why it happened, but sometimes it's hard not to give up and just be like, whatever, I'm just fighting for the greater good. But I can't give up on the black community. It's hard when you get constant attacks from white liberals, black liberals, just the entire left. And then the black community, like in the entertainment industry, every time you start to wake someone up, some idiot like Kaepernick or LeBron James just comes. It's like chloroform. Look, put them back to sleep. They were just starting to wake up. They were just starting to see things for what they are. But the Black community has embraced identity politics like you wouldn't believe. It's just, it seems like it can't be reversed. It would take several generations to reverse it. We're so stuck in this whole, this is why I don't like the hyphenated term African American, because there's no hyphen needed. We're American. We're American. We were born here. This is our country. But the left has told Black people that, you know, you don't belong here. Pretty much. They're not saying it directly, but they're saying it every time. They're like white privilege, white supremacy, African American. Let's take 28 days in February and celebrate you. But that's all you get. And they're so racist, and they send Black liberals as like attack dogs. Every time you go into a Black community or anywhere where there's a lot of Black liberals and you say anything about Trump, or you try to talk, you know, anything against the left, it's like poking a hornet's nest, man. And I don't know what else to do other than continue speaking out and saying what I have to say, and going directly against the left that wants to sell me my oppression. And, you know, Black people got to be Democrats pretty much. And you see what they did. You see how they did Kanye. And I just think it's so bad. And I know what's happening in the Hispanic community too, is there just aren't enough voices on the other side of the argument for you to make a valid case. And then they've embraced identity politics so much that they're like, I will vote for a Black person simply because they're a Black person. They could be saying like, I want access to your bank account, but please vote for me. They're going to vote for you because you're Black. That's kind of how it works. It's just people aren't really doing the research and thinking for themselves.
But if you really take a deep breath and take yourself away from your platform and you know our success, they're really not winning. They're scrambling. They've tried everything to destroy Trump and this country. They thought Russia was going to be the nail in the coffin. They thought the Stormy Daniels thing was going to be every single big event. They think is going to be the one thing, whether it's Charlottesville or anything. It hasn't worked. And once again, more people on the left continue to see how much further the left is going to the left, and they're leaving. It actually is really working. And once we figure out this whole social media thing, the social media thing is the main factor because they're trying to keep us away from each other. And once again, that's why I always stress us staying connected. You know, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or a text message, there has to be a way that we write something down to we constantly stay in touch, because that'll instantly fix the censorship. You know, next Tuesday, boom, going live with Magnificent. Me and you are texting, you know, 2 to 3 times a week, retweeting stuff. You have to do what they're doing because they're going to do what we're not and more, and they're going to attack us. So it's definitely working. And they won't win because they're liars. Evil will never win as long as good people stay the course. It's always been that way through history because evil will always turn upon itself, and you're seeing that right now. They don't even know who they're going to run against Trump. You know, there's been nobody out there that's going to say, I'm going to challenge Trump on the Republican side. So you have to follow. If anything, we have to all follow Trump's example. It's about the country, and that's it. And that was the whole thing, like with the whole thing with Kavanaugh, with the whole thing with anything that has to do racially, anything that has to do with gender. You have minorities like us that speak up. You have women that speak up and go, I support Trump. I support Kavanaugh. That was one of the most happiest moments that I saw when all these women came out in support of Kavanaugh. That could have been my husband. That could have been my son, a brother. And with no evidence, you're trying to condemn this man. All you have to do is stick to the truth and hold them to the truth. And they always lose. It's why they can't debate. If you ever noticed that, if you try to talk to a liberal, they can only talk for a good 30 seconds, spew out a couple talking points. But if you try to have a dialogue, they get nervous because they're literally insane if you think about it.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually kind of fun. It's really hard not to just go for the jugular because like I could just crush your argument right now.
But you can't because you have to understand that these people have been manipulated. The Black community, the Latino community. I was watching this video of Milton Friedman, and he did a Q&A, and this was about good 20, 30 years ago. And it was about welfare. And they're talking about affordable housing, welfare, education. He goes, you know what? We all know we're greedy inherently. How is it that people on an individual level that admit we're pretty much greedy. We care about ourselves more than anything. How is it that we can actually collectivize and do the exact opposite? And the student was like, he asked him a question. He actually asked him a question and expected an answer, and the kid had no answer. That's what you have to focus on, is the conversation, because if you keep the conversation going, they have no response. They don't have the truth. They just have pure propaganda. That's it.
Yeah. And they run on emotion. They can't make logical, sound, reasoned arguments. So it's easy to poke holes in it because they're just running on emotion. They care about what feels good. They don't care if it does good. They just care if it feels good. That's why when you hear, and the Democrats know that. They know that if they can make an emotional argument and tug at the heartstrings, people will actually like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna dig into my wallet. I'm gonna donate to this campaign. This sounds like a good idea. Of course, it's like when you say something like every American citizen should have health care. Like, yeah, who doesn't like hearing the sound of that? I like the way that sounds. It sounds good in theory, but in practice, it doesn't work. Just like socialism. Socialism sounds amazing until you realize what goes into it. I remember being in college and hearing about socialism for the first time, and I heard about like Canada, how they have universal health care, and Switzerland, all these different countries in Europe. And like my professors would say, like, this is awesome. We're the only country that doesn't do this. And, as someone who didn't know anything at the time, I'm like, yeah, I mean, why don't we have that? How come there are people who don't have health care? It seems like it makes sense. But as I got older, I'm like, oh, I have to pay for it, and I have to pay a lot for it. And someone else gets to dictate how it all goes down. And it doesn't resonate.
You know what the sad thing is about that when they talk about socialized medicine, and it hurts for me to admit this. When they talk about Canada, when they talk about Finland, when they talk about Sweden, the one thing that there's common in all those countries when they have free healthcare, their population is pretty much all the same. They're not as diverse as we are. They're actually pretty white.
Yep.
So what you're actually making the case that diversity is really not a good thing. Now, I'm not going to buy into that, but once again, you're making one argument that destroys another one of your arguments. Diversity is our strength. What kind of diversity? Diversity of ideas? Definitely that's not the case. If you put a bunch of people that have different ideals, you're not going to have a prosperous society. So if they want free education and free healthcare and free college, fine. What's preventing you from getting that? People who fundamentally disagree. The argument from the left is always that, well, in the 30s and 40s, the tax rate was such and such, and we had all these things, and there was no problem. It was higher than it is now, and we were able to afford this, that. Well, yeah, but did you have all these social programs? Were we actually united? Did we actually believe in religion? Like they'll leave out intentionally key numbers as to why something worked back then and why it couldn't work now. And they know this. They have the information. They have the statistics. Young Turks does it all the time. Back in I think Sank did an interview with Dinesh D'Souza, and he said that we've had higher tax rates before. Why can't we do it now? We have a much larger illegal immigrant population. We have much more people on welfare. It wouldn't work. But once again, you don't even want to have that conversation because you couldn't go more than 5 minutes without shouting down the other person, telling them how ignorant they are, saying you must watch Fox News. It's always the same copy and paste script that they'll say over and over again. And that's why it's important what we're doing. Because I don't know about you, I've had a lot of people that follow me that say, I was once liberal.
Yep. I get them all the time. I get those people all the time. And then I also get people who walked away like decades ago. Like, some of my older subs will reach out and say, yeah, I'm in my 60s. And I remember seeing the Democrats way back in the day, and I walked away then. And so they feel so inspired and encouraged by us. They're like, wow, I thought that all millennials, because you know how millennials kind of got raked over the coals, just like our parents' generation. They're like, these millennials, they're entitled and they don't think for themselves and that kind of stuff. So to have us speak out and have these conservative principles, and we understand how the economy works, we understand how capitalism works, and we can actually talk to those points, we're articulate, people are loving it. Because these leftist arguments, like they collapse. They collapse under their own weight because we know it's bullshit. They're just always moving the needle. They're always talking about one thing that collapses another argument. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling us we can have free education, housing's a human right. You're going to give us a government job, Green New Deal, all of that, plus open borders, plus, taxes are going to have to go up just for the people here. Even with that, we can't afford it. You're going to tax billionaires, plus you want a $15 an hour minimum wage. And then open borders means the people coming over will undercut that minimum wage. It's just like, you guys have to pick one. You can't have all these things. And their constituents, the people who support them, it doesn't register in their brain that like there is no utopian society. There never will be. The left can't understand. They can't be comfortable in the fact that there will be uneven outcomes. You can't have even outcomes in society. You can only have equal opportunity. See, I'm comfortable with the fact that, I mean, it sucks. I hate to use the word comfortable, but like, it doesn't tear me up to see a homeless person the same way it would a liberal, because, and not all liberals, I'm not generalizing, but the average person who believes in that like utopian rhetoric, they're like, no person should be homeless. We got to tax the billionaires. The billionaires are the reason. They're the ones hogging all the money. It's because they believe that someone's rich because someone's poor. They don't understand that every poor person has their own circumstance, and they can also shoot up the economic ladder just like the billionaire can fall flat on his face and be broke. That's how it works in America.
That was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she attacked Howard Schultz. Can somebody tell Howard Schultz that billionaires need to learn how to work their way from the bottom to the top? Try starting with city council. And it's like, hello, Howard Schultz actually grew up poor. He had he did a couple, odd end jobs, and then became a salesman. Then he ends up being the CEO of Starbucks. Like, you don't even go by facts anymore.
Yeah.
And we let him get away with it.
Right.
But not anymore. Not anymore.
He's the CEO of Starbucks. That's like the most liberal place ever. Remember the bathroom incident just from like not even a year ago?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, man.
So what do you have going on in the future? Like what can we look forward to in because I told a bunch of my subscribers to come on your channel. So hopefully you get a couple new subs after this live stream. What are you going to be working on in the next couple months?
What I'm working on right now, and I'm, my subs know this, I'm having a little bit of a learning curve, just trying to figure out this new software I have on my laptop. It's called OBS. I think you should get it. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, same here. You're not the only one, bro. You're not the only one.
It's like, it makes me feel so dumb because I'm like, I'm somewhat tech savvy, but now that I'm a YouTuber, I'm like, I'm not as tech savvy as I thought. But I'm trying to get over the learning curve of this software because I really want to have more professional looking videos. I want to be able to cut to clips, maybe not on the level of an Amazing Lucas because he's pretty good, but I want to get like a solid intro, outro.
Why not? Hey, wait, why not?
Well, because he's got his own lane.
Okay, so why can't you do that? Why are you doubting yourself, bro?
Dude, you said in the next couple months.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'm not going to be as good as that guy in the next couple months. I'm pretty sure of it. Because
be kind of there. You come on.
It's steps, it comes in stages. But my main thing is I want to get into like video editing. I want to get custom thumbnails, that kind of thing, and then also some more like equipment because I want to go live streaming like in public. This is why I said it would be nice to be in California only because there's always something. I could just go walk in the streets of LA and there's some protest or something going on where I can live stream and talk to people, kind of like Flecka's Talk style. I want to do that. So I want to do that down here and then just gearing up for Trump to start campaigning. I know that's probably not going to happen for a while, but when he starts going on the campaign trail again, you better believe I'll be at almost all the rallies down here.
You may not have the demographics, but you are a voice and you're really smart. So keep growing, keep learning. Like you said, it's a little bit of a learning curve. Okay, you know what's working, you know what's not working. Keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna be completely fine. You're already at 17,000 subscribers. Just rely on the support from your base, your viewers, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We all need help, bro.
Michael Hodges said, if you need help, hit me up. I haven't been able to look at the comments. or the chat? People in the chat talking to us.
Well, after this live stream ends, everybody just leave a bunch of comments so we could reread them. That's one thing that I've been doing that I've always taken pride in when I do my live streams. I read just about each and every comment when I do live streams, and never underestimate the loyalty of your followers, because they will bring you 10 times more. You know, I know, like, there's been times like, hey, I'll be honest, when you passed me up, I was like, that kind of sucks. Is he better than I am? But no, it's not about that. Be better than who you were yesterday, and the views and subscribers will come like that. You know, that's why I was telling you earlier, after this live stream, go on my video, Adam Carolla Destroys White Privilege. Throw a comment on there, and I'll keep it going. Let's go back and forth. It's all about supporting one another, and just the natural occurrence of just people, content creators, just coming together. We shouldn't have to do it. It's just something that's going to come naturally because we see what's happening. We see the ones that know what they're doing, the ones that speak the truth, and you're one of them. It just sucks because we have a left that wants to get rid of us, but they won't as long as we don't give up. And that's the main thing. Just don't give up.
Yeah, no, we will not be giving up, man. Well, this was a great live stream, man. I'm glad to have you on the channel now where I can give you some subs.
Yeah. Pray for me, though, because I'm going to be going to TJ pretty soon. The caravan's going to be hitting the border, and there's been rumors that Trump's going to shut down the border. They say it's going to be a lot bigger than the last couple caravans, 20, 30,000 migrants. They're being lied to. There's terrorists in there. And I've gone to TJ twice in the last couple months. I'm going to be going again. So that's going to be really interesting.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, really quick before we go, State of the Union tomorrow. Give me your thoughts.
Trump's going to do what he does best. I mean, he's not going to disappoint. And you know for a fact, the minute he says it, CNN and the left are going to say why he shouldn't be president. It's not presidential. It's predictable. We know who they are already. We just have to understand the danger of who they are, and really take this a lot more seriously than we have. And then not to say that you haven't, not to say that I haven't, but if we really believe they're capable of what they're capable of, it's just you have to try and find every little thing that you think you're not doing and just push it. You know, get on that OBS. You know, watch a video, do it for an hour. I know it's hard. Like if you're like me, I work all the time. I can't always do it. It might have to be a night where you don't sleep for an hour than you did the day before. Get it done. You know, because your subscribers are more than happy to see you grow. You know, every time you reach however many thousand, I'm pretty sure your subscribers go, oh my God, you're at 17,000, you're at 15,000. I'm so happy for you. People in America, they want us to grow. And it's up to us to deliver. We were chosen to do this. We can't back out now.
Right.
And you're going to succeed. You're going to succeed. I know it already.
Right, man. This is the divine calling right here.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Because a lot of people, when I start bringing up divine, they get a little bit, you know, oh, now you're going that route. But you know what? When I first got into politics, I was a little bit agnostic, even more on the atheistic side. But when I saw how a lot of these atheists were, and how the attack on Christianity is so vicious, it just kind of led me more on the other side. There's just something there. You know, anytime somebody attacks something that bad, it's probably something worth defending. You know, religion, our country, our values, men, the family. The fact how the left disregards the importance of family, it's something we must protect each and every day because they don't care about it. To them, it's no big deal. Make the family the state. Look how that's worked out for us. It's done nothing for us.
Right. They worship at the shrine of government. It's all about growing government and replacing God with government. That's why they don't want God in schools. That's why they don't even want to say, "So help me God," when they get sworn in. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's crazy what happens there. You can say whatever you want about Christians, but God forbid you say anything about Muslims, any other religion, you can't say anything about it. But Christianity is just under attack constantly. You know what I think? And I wanted to bring this up earlier. We were talking about Trump getting reelected. How do you feel about someone like Rand Paul being his running mate versus Mike Pence? Because here's the thing, Rand Paul could really appeal to those that are kind of in the center because he's libertarian Republican. He has a different worldview than like a Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a like hardcore Christian conservative, whereas Rand Paul, I think he could really bring people in. He's a good balance to Trump because he also goes on the attack. He'll straight up call out Congress and be like, this is ridiculous what you guys are doing. You're playing partisan politics. He calls them out all the time. It's kind of funny, but I think he would be a solid running mate. I wish he was the VP instead of Mike Pence, honestly. But Mike Pence is cool.
You know what? When Trump had Mike Pence be his VP, I was kind of puzzled myself. Once again, like I said, when Trump was running for office, I didn't really know much about politics. I'm still learning to this day. Now I understand the importance of him picking Mike Pence because once again, you nailed it on it. They're attacking Christianity. They're attacking our faith, and that would be the main reason why I would still have Mike Pence over a Paul, because he's devoutly Christian. And whether you're religious or not, it's obvious they're trying to destroy it. They're trying to destroy religion and turn this into a secular nation. It's not what our country was built upon, whether you like it or not. You know, this is our home. This is our country. And it will stay the way that we built it. So I'm going to stick with Mike Pence on that one.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting tomorrow. We'll see what he says. Nancy Pelosi will be sitting right behind him. So it'll be funny to watch her reaction. I hope he does the same thing he did last year and say Black American unemployment is the lowest level ever recorded. And then I want them to pan over to the Congressional Black Caucus and watch them sitting there with the stink face on. Do it 2 years in a row. You remember that?
Again, huh? I remember that. I remember that. And a lot of people remember that too. Don't think that a lot of Black Americans didn't see that and go, oh, okay. Don't think a lot of Black Americans didn't see the government shutdown over immigration. Oh, you never shut the government down over us. So there's things that the Democrats are doing that they're just digging themselves deeper and deeper. And when the caravan hits, when the 15th comes, and possibly another government shutdown, you're going to see how bad the left really is. And we need it to happen. Sometimes you have to go that low in order for people to change their minds. You're going to see the State of the Union tomorrow. The left's going to do their thing. They're going to spin it their way, and it's going to be our job to tell actually what the truth actually really is. That's what they've been getting away with for a long time, just spinning a different narrative, just lying. The silver tongue just lying and telling deceitful things that have been manipulating our kids, our brothers or sisters. No longer. We just say, you know what? I saw it. This is what I took from it. And people go, I agree. I agree. Words are powerful. And the way in which you use them, that bases how somebody takes, a stance on something. It's up to us. If you're a voice, it's your obligation to say something. Because literally our lives depend on it.
Yes, sir. Trump said it best in his tweet last week where he said the Democrats have become the party of late-term abortion, high taxes, open borders, and crime.
Yep. They have.
Man. All right, bro. Sounds like you're at home now.
Yeah, I just got home right now.
All right, bro.
All right.
We appreciate
I love the live stream, bro.
Man. Let's do this again soon. You can have me on your channel next time. And thank you guys for tuning in. Give it a like, share, sub. If you're watching, sub Conservative Mexican. I'll put his. You guys can just type it in. Actually, I don't even need to put a link. Just type in Conservative Mexican. It'll pop right up.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Catch you later. Peace.